Let's build the most iconic Pokemon in existence and build Pikachu as a playable character in Dungeons & Dragons. While this build can probably apply to Pichu as well, I'm definitely a little more focused on Pikachu. Starting with the species, there isn't quite a exact Pikachu equivalent, but Pikachu does kind of look like a rabbit a little bit, so we're going to go with Harengon. This comes from the Monsters of the Multiverse book, and they get features like Hair Trigger, giving you proficiency in your initiative rolls, Leporine Senses, so you have proficiency in perception, Lucky Footwork, so if you fail a dex saving throw, you can use your reaction to add a d4 to the roll, and they get the feature Rabbit Hop. So as a bonus action, you can jump a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus, without provoking opportunity attacks. But you can only use this if your speed is currently greater than 0. You can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. When it comes to a background, we gotta give a nod to Detective Pikachu and go with Inquisitive. This gives us skill proficiencies in Insight and Investigation, while also giving us the Alert feat. Unfortunately, this does kind of overlap with the existing features of being a Harengon, but there's only so much you can do, because it gives us proficiency in initiative again. But it also gives us initiative swap, so we can actually swap our initiative with somebody else if we want to. Then when it comes to a starting class, because I want to do just a little multi-class here, I wanted to go with a charisma-based class, because Pikachu's pretty much the face of Pokemon. It needs some charisma, especially since most of the time outside of the Detective Pikachu movie, it can usually only say its own name. So some extra charisma is probably going to help that out. So for a charisma-based class, we're going to go with the Sorcerer. This gives us the feature Innate Sorcery, so as a bonus action, we can activate our Innate Sorcery, which lasts for 1 minute. And while it's active, any Sorcerer spells that we cast increase their difficulty challenge by 1, and any spells that require an attack roll have advantage. You can use this feature twice, regaining all uses when you finish a long rest. But of course, at first level of Sorcerer, you also get some spell casting. So grab some lightning and thunder based stuff, because that's kind of Pikachu's whole deal. Grab Lightning Lure, Shocking Grasp, and Sorcerous Burst. Sorcerous Burst can apply any type of element, but we're just going to lean into the lightning. When it comes to some first level spells, grab the basics with Mage Armor and Shield for some defense, Jump to boost up your jump distance, Absorb Elements to absorb any lightning, and finally, Expeditious Retreat. Pikachu is definitely a fast Pokemon, and Expeditious Retreat will allow you to dash as a bonus action. The second level of Sorcerer gives us Metamagic, so you have a number of sorcery points equal to your level in Sorcerer, which you can use to trade for more spell slots, or you can spend them on Metamagic. There's only 2 Metamagic options we really care about. The first is Quicken Spell. We want to be able to cast something as a bonus action that would usually take an action, and that's how we do it. But the most important thing we need is Transmuted Spell, so any elemental damage you would deal. If it's not lightning or thunder, we can turn it into lightning or thunder. Then third level of Sorcerer allows us to choose a Sorcerer subclass. And if we're leaning into lightning and thunder, we gotta go with the Storm Sorcerer. This gives us the feature Wind Speaker, so you can understand Primordial, and you get Tempestuous Magic. So as a bonus action on your turn, you can whirl gusts of wind around your body, which doesn't really feel accurate for Pikachu, but you can still use it anyways because it'll give you a flying speed of 10 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. You could just only do this right before or after you cast a first level spell or higher. Also at third level, you get access to second level spells. So for the incredible speed and agility that Pikachu has, we'll grab Blur, as well as Mirror Image and Misty Step. We'll grab Dragon's Breath, allowing us to spew out elemental damage, which we can make lightning. And then, since we have Transmuted Spell, we can grab any type of elemental damage we want. But fire usually has some pretty good spells in Dungeons & Dragons. So we'll grab Flaming Sphere, which will become Lightning Sphere, just being a ball of lightning that can float around and constantly roll into your enemies, and Scorching Ray, shooting out blasts of lightning instead of fire at a bunch of your enemies. Fourth level of Sorcerer gives you an ability score improvement. So this is our starting ability scores. Fairly well rounded, but leaning a bit more into Charisma. And then we're going to throw 2 more points into Charisma. Fifth level of Sorcerer gives you Sorceress Restoration. So you can regain a number of expended sorcery points equal to half of your Sorcerer level, rounded down, whenever you finish a short rest. But you can only do this once per long rest. Also at 5th level, you get access to 3rd level spells. So we're going to grab Thunder Step, which leans into the Thunder stuff, as well as the Insane Speed. Grab Lightning Bolt, because it's a pretty iconic lightning-based attack. And Fireball, which we can turn into Lightning Ball. Just a big ball of lightning you send at your enemies. 6th level of being a Storm Sorcerer gives us Heart of the Storm, so you gain resistance to lightning and thunder damage. And whenever you start casting a 1st level spell or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage, stormy magic erupts from you, causing creatures of your choice that you can see within 10 feet of you to take lightning or thunder damage. This damage is equal to half your sorcerer level. And also, thanks to 6th level of being a Storm Sorcerer, you get Storm Guide. This kind of just allows you to control the weather a little bit, so it doesn't really fit very well with Pikachu. 7th level of being a Sorcerer gives you Sorcery Incarnate. So if you have no uses of your innate sorcery left, you can spend 2 sorcery points when you take a bonus action and activate it. But on top of this, whenever your innate sorcery is active, you can actually use 2 Metamagic options at the same time. You also get access to some higher level spellcasting here, but there's no spells that fit with Pikachu. So we're going to keep on moving to 8th level of Sorcerer, where we get to throw 2 more points into Charisma. Then at 9th level, we get access to 5th level spells, and if you're shocking somebody, it might mess with their head a bit. At least that's what happens in My Hero Academia. So we're going to grab Synaptic Static. This deals psychic damage and not lightning, but it still kind of short circuits a person's brain, forcing them to subtract 1d6 from all of their attack rolls and ability checks, as well as any of their concentration checks. 10th level of Sorcerer will allow us to get some metamagic options, so we can grab Heightened Spell to force disadvantage on a save against your sorcerer spells, and then just to hopefully not shock your own Pokemon trainer, grab Careful Spell, allowing you to avoid damaging any of your allies in an AoE attack. 11th level of Sorcerer gives us access to 6th level spells. And there's one very iconic spell that we gotta grab, and that's Chain Lightning. You get to launch a lightning bolt towards a target you can see within range. 3 bolts then leap from that target to up to 3 other targets, as long as they're within 30 feet of the original target, forcing a dex save and dealing 10d8 lightning damage. Then at 12th level of Sorcerer, we get another ability score improvement. So for that pretty solid quickness, we're going to throw 2 points into Dexterity. Then we're going to do a multiclass. And we want to boost up the iconic lightning and thunder damage as much as possible. So we're going to be multiclassing into Cleric. Now we're going to speed through the Cleric stuff though, because what we do with Cleric is mostly going to enhance our abilities as a sorcerer, but still giving us a couple extra options. Because jumping straight to 3rd level of Cleric, we get to choose a Cleric subclass. And the best way to boost up a Storm Sorcerer is to go with a Tempest Domain Cleric, because this gives us 2 great features. The first is Wrath of the Storm, which allows you to deal lightning or thunder damage to any creature that attacks you. And this is actually something that you would have gotten at a higher level of Storm Sorcerer, so it's pretty beneficial you get it so early as a Tempest Cleric. But you can only use this feature a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. But what we really want is the ability to use Channel Divinity as a Tempest Cleric for a feature called Destructive Wrath. So you can use your Channel Divinity to force any lightning or thunder damage you would deal to automatically deal max damage. Meaning you don't even have to roll the dice. That lightning bolt that you shoot out is just maxed out. The lightning fireball that you blast out is just maxed out. It really just comes down to whether or not the person that you're attacking is able to succeed on a saving throw, and whether they're going to take half damage or not. But also, as a Storm Sorcerer, you get some additional spells added automatically, like Thunder Wave, which we kind of skipped over as Sorcerer, but it's another thunder-based spell while also pushing people as a 1st level spell. You get Shatter, which is another Thunderous Boom in an AoE. Then there's a very iconic move that appears in Smash Bros. While you call down lightning on yourself. And there's a spell called Call Lightning, summoning down lightning from above, dealing 3d8 lightning damage. But with this spell, you can actually keep summoning it down over and over again. You'll also get some other spells that don't really relate to lightning or thunder as much and more controlling the weather, but they're still fun to have. But just to keep going in Cleric, because it kind of makes more sense to just keep going in Cleric at this point, grab 4th level of Cleric, which gives you an ability score improvement, and we'll throw 2 points into Wisdom because there is going to be some Wisdom-based stuff we need as a Cleric. 6th level of being a Tempest Cleric gives you Thunderbolt Strike, so when you deal lightning damage to a large or smaller creature, you can push it 10 feet away from you, and if you mix that with something like Scorching Ray from being a sorcerer, which you turn into lightning damage, you can blast them with multiple rays, pushing them 10 feet away with each ray that you're hitting them with. And then we can just skip right to 8th level, because that's our last ability score improvement. And since we do so much lightning and thunder damage based stuff, and we have the ability to get an epic boon at this level, we can grab the Boon of the Furious Storm. This gives us the feature Eye of the Storm, so you have resistance to lightning and thunder damage, which you already have, but while you're bloodied, you're actually immune to lightning and thunder damage instead. But what we really needed is Storm's Strength. So creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against any spell that you cast that deals lightning or thunder damage. So no matter what, they're always going to be at disadvantage. You can boost up the difficulty of your sorcerer spells as well with your innate sorcery feature, and all of your spells can deal lightning or thunder damage because you can transmute them. It's a great way to round everything out with a final capstone here. And that's how I would build Pikachu as a playable character in Dungeons & Dragons. If you want access to the character sheet for this build or any of my other builds, feel free to check out my Patreon, linked in the comments and description down below. I know I kind of sped through this one and I included a couple extra things on the character sheet, but I'm building a ton of Smash Bros characters right now, so I gotta build them fast. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, let me know by hitting that like button, and I'll be here hoping you roll at least 3 nat 20s in your next D&D session, especially if you want to say nothing but Pika and Pikachu over and over again by playing as the Pokemon Pikachu in Dungeons & Dragons.